We're here with Denny Ray Johnson, and we're going to be talking about the equinox.
Well, this is just a brief introduction to the equinox and why it feels like it's a significant opportunity. The whole Rayid system is typically based on the understanding of the balance between opposites. In the iris, we have jewel and flower that are opposites. We have shaker and stream that are opposites. And it has a lot to do with how to balance the opposites. For me, the equinox is a moment in nature where the southern hemisphere and the northern hemisphere are no longer polarized, but they arrive at a moment of equality, which means that upon the planet and the vibrational realm, things are of equal light, north and south. And for a moment, there is a window of stillness or the opportunity for the polarities to balance or merge. So the goal is to experiment with what this is like. So that's the overall plan.
Okay. So can you give us some specifics on what we can do to prepare for the equinox?
Well, I think first maybe we start with the preparation ideally would be over an extended period of time because everything is about time. So we would be preparing over ideally a period of months, building up the anticipation or increasing the level of desire or energy for something to occur. So ideally it would be something that we align daily with our resonance to the times of the day and the month of the season. And then on the third month of that season, there's going to be an equinox or a solstice. Now, I'm particularly most interested in the equinox because that's the time of the equality. It's equal. The solstice is really the extremes of the opposites. So the equinox is when we transition from, in the northern hemisphere, from winter into summer. This is the passage between 3 months and the fourth month. There now is an opportunity. So after 3 months of winter, we go into spring. Now in the northern hemisphere, it's 3 months of summer as it goes into the autumn. So what this also prepares us for is, what can I do to prepare for this moment? And I think there's a couple things that would be useful. One is just to appreciate sunrise and appreciate sunset. The reason for this is this time period of sunrise matches the same function as the spring equinox. So the 1 hour before sunrise in the hourly sequence is what we call the 5-boy hour. That 5-boy hour is the free will, authentic self, making a choice. And at the point of that choice, it opens up the 2-boy sunrise. Now, the same thing as the third month of winter becomes the first month of spring. So that moment, right at the sunrise, is where there is an equality between the nighttime and the daytime. So just the feeling of sunrise and the significance of what it means to be the 5-boy actual authentic self and a desire to want to grow like the sunrise. Then the opposite end of that would be sunset, where it is the 5-girl time of the day. It is now in the southern hemisphere, the 5-girl month, and it moves into the next sequence, which is the 2-girl hour or the 2-girl month. So it's 5 into 2 in the morning or 5 into 2 in the evening. So to be aware of these two feelings, 5 into 2 in the evening would be the third month of summer, which is where all of the fruit, flowers, produce has reached an optimum abundance, and all of that is now available, and all of that is moving into the two-girl moment of the equinox, moving that into self. So there is a morning experience of moving into fire and sunrise. There is an evening experience of moving it into the evening, into self. Now, these two opposites happening on the equinox, we would be aware of what nature is doing, while simultaneously also wanting to equilibrate the feeling of energy from our mother's family and our father's family, and how that is going to have an opportunity to come into a balance or a circulation of unresolved potential. Because typically when the mother and father come together, it takes two energies, it meets at the conception. Now that produces the interwoven tension of the DNA. The DNA constructs the body type. It also holds the memory of all of the unresolved issues from your father and your mother's side. So if you feel or dwell on or ask for the truth about yourself and your mother and father, and honestly look at your own feelings about your mother and your own feelings about your father, this would give the maximum opportunity for nature to assist you, whether it's in the spring equinox or the autumn equinox, in the sunrise of that day or in the sunset of that day. Just take the whole day to learn to feel both sides of your family tree while asking for divine truth to help you learn how to feel and facilitate this moment. That was a bit long-winded, but you get the idea. It's an opportunity.
So if I understand you correctly, the opportunity really is to prepare for the equinox by choosing by your 5 boy to aspire to some form of balance, and asking for the truth about who you are. And obviously we come from parents, mother and father energies, which can be very, very different, but we are that union. So we can actually take those energies from mother and father and then feel them at the time of the equinox. And ideally, that would be a time to maybe look at the positive and negative traits of both parents and actually look at what the gift is that they gave you, and then what our own gifts are, and then be able to balance any unhealed polarities between the two.
Yes. So let me just show you another graphic for a moment. This would be about, this one may not completely fit on the screen, but you'll get the general idea. This is every hour of the day, and they're in 2-hour blocks. Part of this is to recognize that each one of these different hours of the day corresponds to different memories in the family tree. So these are also different glands, organs, body systems. It's not only the time of the day, it's the season of the year. And we find out that the equinox occurs basically at the heart level. So if I'm coming up the front, winter is from the pelvic cavity to the chest. Equinox is at the heart level. It travels over the top for another 6 months, and equinox is in the shoulder area behind the heart. So equinox in the north, equinox in the south, they happen in specific locations of the heart. So just remember to keep that feeling involved in it. Now, the reality is this is an experiment. This is something that I'm planning to do for at least 3 equinoxes, because I have a the distinct appreciation of how things come in sets of three, like 3 months in a season and so on, and that after the 3 months of a season, between the third and the fourth, something happens. So I'm planning on doing 3 equinoxes while building energy, much like the graphic you have behind you. To me, this cycling Fibonacci spiral is the gradual increase of energetic potential over months. So if we have a sincere desire to feel different hours of the day, different months of the year, we're building up an intentional increase of feeling for the specific purpose of bringing this equilibrium and the opportunity for our souls to align with the divine potential for my specific soul and yours, and we now facilitate and allow that and support that to occur for everyone else. So it's a group involvement that we're experiencing about how individual people have to do their own work, but we're supporting this by being involved with people in the southern hemisphere while we're coming out of winter. They're going into autumn, and how the whole group now is going to facilitate that for each other. So for me, doing that 3 different times or 3 different equinoxes is designed to accumulate this force over this time period, which is, roughly for now a year from now. So it's got to go through another cycle, equinox in the autumn and equinox next spring again.
So again, what I'm understanding you to say is that it's really about being aware of the different cycles and seasons and spending some time, not just, okay, it's the equinox, let's just, take the energy of mother and father, but it's, wow, it's this equinox and it's tied to many other equinoxes. And the intention really is to feel the different energies throughout the day, to be aware of time and the seasons, and also not just our parents, but each one of those times represents different grandparents and different inherited traits that we may have received. So the equinox is that time for us to feel all of them, feel gratitude for what's come before us, but also to set the intention to heal any of those grandparent lines or any of those areas or polarities that are out of balance.
Yes. Now, to be completely honest with you, I've not done this before with a group. So the opportunity to do it with a group is different than doing it as an individual. So I'm ready to see whatever does happen over a period of time. And I don't have a specific certain outcome. I have some intentional alignment for what I'm doing it for, but I'm also asking for the truth about how to use the equinox for the greatest good for myself and others. So there is a likelihood something completely different arrives. Now, part of this is a series of possible outcomes. One of the possible outcomes we're looking at examining is the outcome where this equilibration of the mother and father's genetic memory over a period of time would facilitate the resolution of blockages inside the subtle dynamics of the physical and spirit body, and the opportunity for me to process those feelings. And that would be facilitated in the long run by a healthier physical outcome or a healthier mental outcome. So physical or emotional health would be one of the intentions of this. The other possibility is to utilize this moment in harmony with the intelligent design of the Creator to elevate our degree. By that, it would be our degree of love, or in a physical presence or a vibrational presence, to lift our vibration, to be able to individually and collectively in harmony with the design of nature, lift our degree. In that moment, hopefully, that lifting of the degree could become permanent, or it would enable us to experience an alignment in our body, feeling body or soul, or it might be capable of helping us do other things as well. There are two other possibilities, at least, that I'm opening myself to explore. One would be the possibility of not only changing the degree, but changing locations in the spirit world. I would like to utilize that moment to visit a higher degree of the spirit world. And I'm going to be asking my spirit guides to help me experience the higher degree of the spirit world so I can experience it and explain from that experience what the benefits might be. The other possibility is using this equinox as the opportunity to create a porthole in time and space and the opportunity to be able to travel. And I've been known to like to travel. So if it's possible to travel a wormhole or visit another world or have these experiences, well, I like to do these things. So that's a possibility, is traveling. And the other possibility is, well, who knows what might be possible. It's an ongoing experience to be trained or facilitated by spirits and my guides to be able to use this wisely. So it might be an instrument of health or healing for others. So that's my overall intention. I would suggest that each person decide what they want to do for themselves and be willing to experience the results of their choices. Because, I can't be responsible for anyone's experience. I'm sharing as openly as possible that this is an experiment. I'm going through it, and I'm inviting other people to consider doing the same if that's what their desire is.
Well, thank you very much. And I do think that, from what I'm hearing, anybody can come in at any level. I mean, at the very least, to consider that the equinox is a beautiful time to appreciate your forefathers or appreciate your parents and ask for an equilibration between those energies. And we can take it on further. I know ancient civilizations felt that the equinox was very important, even built buildings that actually matched the sunlight at the equinox. And we can look at it as, well, maybe it is a way to elevate our soul progression. Well, we hope you join us in exploring the equinox. Thank you. And thank you, Denny.
Bye.